Bro, I sound crazy. In 2012, I was a new wife, and on a random work day, I got hit with news that shook me. I ended up going into a tailspin pretty quickly of sadness, confusion, doubt, anger. I was mad at my husband, I was mad at God, and it wasn't until years and years later that I finally was too exhausted to keep trying to steward it the way I wanted it to be handled, and I surrendered it to God. And in that season is when I learned that me trying to control my pain was not different than my husband trying to numb his, that we both needed the same grace. And so I wrote, I study the subtle story in your eyes. Bodies aligned, fingers braided, sacred grasp underneath the covers, lovers branded with the approval of the one we believe in. So please, inside the comfort of a covenant, it never even occurred to me that the love of my life might be addicted. It winded me, wheezing on unpleasantries, grieving in uncertainty, was accustomed to feeling adored. Now I feel ordinary. It's frightening to abruptly find your best friend, your husband, untrustworthy. That tale in his eyes of mine, bleeding bewilderments, pleading me illiterate. Little by little increments of bitterness are creeping in anguish, angles me fetal in my frigid skin, cringing in my whimpers. Wrecked behind my whispers, zero verbiage atones, coveting numbness in my groans. In mere seconds, I'm thrown, enemy toying with my head. I'm pressing, begging for my prayers to move much faster than the fantasy can. I've always loved your hands. Now I can't help but imagine them trespassing against me, vigorously, with the substituted nectar seeping through your finger seams. I almost wish it had been a kiss with a drifter some odd evening. That would imply it was unlikely, impulsive even, but the steps you took to betray me stem from a lie that you believe in. Don't fully comprehend, but these are the blanks that I filled in. You open a screen, type in a passkey, literally declaring your love for me. Choose a site and swoon at whomever your flesh chooses, then do whatever it is. Your pixelated pleasure makes me feel geometric, objectified and flat at the exact same time. Digital dynamics with a distant mistress, ironically, promptly, ready and accessible. Do you realize what you're settling for? Forbidden women, sweet as honey, smooth as oil. You didn't know you stabbed me with the second edge of that sword. Our well drips slowly. Your streams water the street. Spread too thin to fill me up. Wash me with the word and love, Judiced by your lips. Kisses tainted by omission, on mission to muzzle vengeance. Flesh swelling with livid friction, waging war against the idea that you should experience how this feels. I am fragile, like a bomb, exposed like autopsy. A stubborn darkness, it follows me. Persistent helplessness, it's exhausting. Why can't you be satisfied savoring me? Instead of devouring sin-sick queens, feasting your eyes on what your heart fiends, stop feeding that seed. Pray for the valleys of her heart before you worship the peaks surrounding them, closed off physically, avoiding cheapened intimacy. Maybe he won't notice, now second-guessing my own motives and my primping simply because I love you, or because I'm competing with what you may or may not be into. Won't ask because I don't pose questions I'm not ready to know the answers to. But if you could be pleased by an image, what makes me so significant? Had sex with so many shadows that whether I'm there or not doesn't matter. Safety shattered, trust rattled. I only gift myself to you, but you're stealing pleasure from other people. This exchange isn't equal. New lethal dose of plummeted self-worth. It's humiliating to feel this ugly, this gross. What you find enchanting, I find repugnant, disastrous. I hate lust. This closeted indulgence is manhandling us, and I can't manage to get a handle on being gracious or patient, pacing my statements surrendering my judgments. Pace your statements, surrender your judgments, coaching myself through fruit too ripe for my taste while swallowing the fact that I will never understand and digesting that I'm still called to submit and love you through this with excellence as Christ did. But I've become so consumed with what your retinas consume, confused and pissed off, obsessed with how it's affecting you, made your conquest my compass. Lost sight of all purpose, asylum in your silence. Why won't you just let me help you fight this? Let me be your God, your guard. Let me be your healer, your helper. Let me make you clean, Desperation raised a Martha complex in me. Futile, arrogant, debilitating. But could it really be as simple as to sit at his feet? Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. Let me ask without doubting. I am fragile, like hope, exposed, like the truth, that I need Christ in this trial just as much as you do.